Hi. We're going to introduce ourselves in a second. We haven't lived in the United States of America in years, although we both grew up in the United States of America. So today we'd like to talk with you, friends, Black women and families, about we'd like to reflect on our decisions to leave the US and to live abroad. Okay. We think this is a very super timely conversation. You may be feeling like it's go time for you and for your family. And so we'd like to share with you from our honest and open points of view. Hi, Rashida, would you like to introduce yourself?
I would love to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Roshida Dowe, and I am one of the co-hosts of Exodus Summit. Who I am is a Black woman who lived in the US. I was living in the Bay Area. I was a lawyer. I was burnt out. I hated going to work, which in turn meant that even the good parts of my life were kind of tinged with the negativity of the thing I hated, right? It's hard to put the thing, if you're living in something you really, really hate, it's hard to put it in a silo and not let it touch the other parts of your life. I decided to take a break from work and from the US to leave and go travel the world for a year. And on that year, I explored, I want to say 23 countries and 44 cities. And in that time, I decided I could never live in the US again. And I've lived in Mexico City since 2019.
2019. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. Hi, my name is Stephanie Perry. I now live in Bogotá, Colombia. I just moved into this apartment, just got a place to stay. I left the US September of 2015, where I lived and worked in Delaware. I lived and worked in Wilmington, Delaware. And I left in 2015 to just travel for a year. And like Rashida, I was like, oh no, I can't go back. Right. Being out of the US for any significant period of time introduced me to some parts about the US that had blinders on to before. We're going to talk about some of that. And so I kicked it around. I just bopped around the world for 9 years and finally got an apartment in Bogota, Colombia. And I'm now in a place where not only do I feel the peace of mind that I feel from being out of the US, but I also feel like I can be in community, which is a new thing for me, having been, a move around bopper for quite a while. All right, so let's talk. Can we talk a little bit before we talk about the things that we noticed during our year away or our time away that made us say, I can't live in the US anymore? Before we talk about that, can we talk a little bit, Rashida, about who we think should be in on this conversation? I think a lot of people exclude themselves from the talk about moving abroad too early. Can we
Yeah.
talk who we think this is for?
Yeah.
Who are we recruiting?
Uh, well, we're always here for Black women, right? That's our starting point of everything we do is we're here to support Black women. But I think to your point of people eliminating themselves too early, they count themselves out and tell them it's not possible without kind of exploring what is possible. And so I would say that if you have ever thought that perhaps living in the US isn't what you want to do long term, this video is for you.
Yeah.
What would you say, Steph?
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, if you're starting to feel like the walls are closing in on you in the United States. So I just watched a video from the New York Times YouTube channel called We're Experts in Fascism, We're Leaving the United States. Okay. If you're feeling the pressure and you're feeling like, if I was a person who lived in 1930s Germany, I would have wanted to get out, or early 1940s, right? If you're starting to feel that pressure on yourself, this is for you. Okay. Yeah, and this YouTube channel is for you. The entire Exodus Summit YouTube channel is for you. Go ahead and subscribe while you're here. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. If you ever had any desire, welcome. We're going to have a conversation and hopefully do some recruitment. Get you and your family on the pathway out, even if you don't think it's possible today.
Yes. And before you think like they're talking about recruitment, this is a cult. Look, that's not what we're doing. We not that it doesn't matter to us, but we don't really care where you go, right? We're not getting paid by anyone to get Black people out of the US because people ain't paying Black people to do anything, much less if they want you to go, you're gonna be gone, right? No, we just really, really care about Black women and Black families, and we see so many Black families have better outcomes outside of the U.S., and so we want to help facilitate that for you if it's something you want. Right? We're not here to convince you that it's a good idea, although you might end this video thinking it's a good idea. You watch enough videos on this channel, you will think it's a good idea. But we really want you to go where your joy takes you, wherever in the world that is. If you're a Black woman, if you are in a Black family, it's probably not the US right now, not in 2025, right?
So back in 2015, when I was traveling around Southeast Asia, a little bit of Australia, a little bit of Europe on my savings, one of the things that really struck me that meant that I couldn't come back to life in the US was how work focused our entire adult lives are in the US compared to other places. I got to see people from, people from Europe and Australia in particular, but also Asians, Africans who were like, oh yeah, I have a good job, but I'm traveling for 3 months, for 6 months, for a year. And, then I'll go back, and I've done it before and I'll do it again. And I have hobbies and interests. I have a full life. My family and I go to dinner. We might start dinner at 8 p.m., right? We may not finish dinner until 11:30, but we go to dinner on a regular basis, even with school kids. That was one of the things that happened. One of the things that I saw and got to like be surrounded by that told me that I can't come back to live in the United States. I don't want work to be the focus of my life. I don't want to live my life as a worker. I want to be a whole person. I want community. I want relationships. I want interests, and I don't want to have to squeeze those things into the crevices of my life. I want them to take up the meat of my life. Work can find its place.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing. What did you have a specific thing that meant you couldn't come back?
So I actually want to touch on something you said because it triggered something for me. And that was, I remember on my journey, the only time people asked things like, wait, what are you doing? With big confusion. And how do you afford this? With big confusion was what I ran into Americans. Everybody else was like, okay, girl, my cousin did that 7 times already, right? Like everybody else in the world, they were like, okay, you're traveling for some time, no big deal. The Americans were aghast, right? Like clutching their pearls. What are you talking about? That wasn't the thing that made me realize I couldn't come back, though. I would say the thing that made me realize I couldn't come back was I watched people around the globe have a version of the soft lives that Americans have only seemed to realize are available to them in the past 2 or 3 years and now seem to be yearning for, right? And I'm gonna say some of your soft lives don't look that soft. But these people were out here living lives where they may not have had monetarily what you expect to see in a soft life, but you can see the joy and the peace on their face. And you can see that they were living really full, abundant lives without constantly like chasing the next thing or chasing the dollar. And to be fair, being put in a position by capitalist forces or their government or the combination of the two and the overlap that forced them to do that, right? Like there are people who were just allowed to rest. And that was something I hadn't experienced in the US before.
Yeah. Right? Just being in the world. Yeah, I met a dude who was from Cameroon, who was in Indonesia playing some level of soccer, professional soccer. Man, that dude's life was really chill. Really chill. He didn't feel like he needed to become the best. I don't want to insult him, but he didn't feel like he needed to be the best of the best, which, he didn't have pressures on him. He was living a nice life, went to the gym for hours a day, played with his friends, hung out. And got to just be a chill person instead of the demands in the US that you always are contributing to the capitalism. Always, everything in the US has to be about money. Even soft life, right? In the US, soft life is not really soft life. It's just like how much quote unquote luxury can you purchase?
Mhm. And display.
Yes.
To display.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, Rashida, you were like, I'm not moving back.
Mhm.
I know this. Okay. You went to Mexico City with a
Uh-huh.
friend
Uh-huh.
just to visit, passing through for not the first time, right?
It was my third or fourth time there. Fourth time there. I was passing through. I said to us with a friend, we coming from different places. We just got into our hotel. We went for a walk. And I was just walking around. I looked around and I said, "Why don't I live here?" She said, "Why don't you?" And I was like, first of all, the question was rhetorical. So mind your business. But second of all, I can't even like the itch right in that moment. I was like, I don't have a reason why. I have 1,000 reasons why and 0 reasons why. Like I could have said, well, I don't have a job here. I don't have a place to live here. I don't have a visa here. But at the end of the day, it was like my response to that was, I don't actually have a reason that's not a made up fear in my head, right?
Yeah.
I don't actually have a reason that I don't live here. I don't speak the language. I don't know how to go around. I don't know anything about the neighbor. All factual. But those could be reasons that I said I wasn't going to move here, or I could just figure out how to get through those things. And I decided to figure out how to get through those things. And I moved here 6 months later.
What a debt of gratitude you owe to your friend for asking that question. Remember the wedding episode of Different World? And what's his name's boyfriend was like, blessed are those who ask the questions.
Uh-huh.
What a, what a, sometimes you just need somebody to like turn on the light. It's
Yes.
not even open the door, just turn on the light to the room. And you'd be like, oh,
Oh.
get in
Oh.
there. Get in there.
Well, actually, let me find out what it's going to take to move here. And
That's
I
right.
did. And sometimes it is that easy. And sometimes it's a lot harder, but either way, you can look at it one of two ways, right? Like, let's figure out what I need to do to get past all of these things that could pop up, or it can be all of these things are reasons why I don't live here, and so I'll never live here. Instead of, looking at them as opportunities to increase your skill set. My Spanish is better, right? I can swim through Mexican bureaucracy when I need to, right? I can, figure out how much this costs in pesos all the time. It's a good life. And it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't moved here.
That's right.
So Stephanie, question for you. You have been outside of the States for 9 years. Is that it?
9 years, 10 years next month.
Ooh,
No.
child. Okay.
Time.
What is time? um, you're in Bogota now, and I know you've been a few places before Bogota.
Yeah.
What is it that you're looking for in a city that Bogota gave you? Because one of the things that often people stumble upon is like, how do I find the perfect city for me?
Yeah.
So how did you end up in Bogota?
First of all, I don't need it to be like the perfect place for me to feel better than the place I was in. Right. So I didn't feel like I didn't and still don't feel like I needed to find the perfect place, even though I got a rent payment right here. If one day I wake up and I'm like, you know what, this other place, I think I want to go there, I can pick up and go there. So, but what was I looking for? I want some basic things on my list. I wanted to be able to the weather, right? I don't want to live life with a coat. I want to live life with no coat. I ended up in Bogota, which is light jacket weather, but not coat weather. I had a specific cost of living that I needed to stay under. I wanted to be close enough that I can get back to my parents in Delaware in a reasonable amount of time, not 2 days, right? I love Southeast Asia, but being in Southeast Asia, it's going to take me 2 whole days of flying to get back, or at least a day and a half. And the thing that moved up my list after I left the US was a place where I can be in community with the people. where I like the people, where they're going to be kind to me, and where I can learn the language. All of that goes in together. I feel like in Bogota, in Colombia, in a lot of Latin America, I've spent significant amounts of time in Mexico, Costa Rica, and in Bogota. And in Latin America, it's clear to them that I'm not from here. As soon as we start speaking, even in Bogota, where there are Black Colombians, even as soon as I start speaking, it's clear to them that I'm not from here. But there's no negative treatment, and maybe even a little extra kindness. They're going to be kind anyway, but a little extra kindness towards me. And that was what I was looking for. I don't want to be in a place where I'm always going to stand out as a foreigner and always be mistreated because I'm a foreigner, with people like trying to charge me extra, which is a thing in like Vietnam, right? Where I'm never going to really be in community with people. I may enjoy my life there, but I'll never really be in community. That's what I was looking for. And boom, stumbled right onto it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So for someone else who's looking for a place on the planet to call their own that's not the US, what is the first thing you would tell them to do when they're thinking about it?
In terms of trying to figure out where to go, I would say get into community with people who are on this same journey as you and listen to things that they're talking about. If you don't already have some people already have like some place that's just like in their heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in my heart, I just want to live in Paris, right? In my heart, I want to live in Nairobi. Someplace, if you don't have that, then I would get in community with people who talk this talk regularly and listen to the places they're going and see what sounds interesting, right? So a lot of this is checking things off of like trying things out and seeing what works for you and what doesn't work for you. What would you tell to somebody who's trying to figure out a where?
I think that's a really good idea. I think that figuring out maybe what your priorities are. Stephanie told you what her priorities are. Figuring out what your priorities are when you want to move. If it's cost of living, and that's your number one, like look at the cost of living in specific places, but figure out what's most important to you and start there. Also, Exodus Summit has a great quiz for you if you want to think about where to go. Right. So we'll drop the link to that in the description for this video. It's a great place to start to think about the questions you need to ask yourself if you're not even sure how to even start framing this research.
Yeah. Yeah. Quiz is awesome. It's going to help you figure out or like prioritize and organize your needs. Yeah. Yeah. ExodusSummit.com/quiz. It's linked in the description of the video. Yeah. So you mentioned that when you decided, okay, now I'm moving to Mexico City, one of the things that could have been your but you don't have a job in Mexico. Mm-hmm. So can we talk a little bit about Move Abroad Money and how we, the dynamic duo, help people solve that problem or navigate that question?
So we've both been running our own businesses since mine was 2019. What about you, Steph? When did you start being an entrepreneur? It's 2019? Okay. And we also have a joint business together that we've been running together since 2020. Since 2020, we've been running Exodus Summit, which you see on the screen right now. And in our helping Black women and their families move abroad, one of the things we hear a lot is, but what about the money? And so in 2022, we themed our summit, Move Abroad Money, to help Black women get the money they need to move abroad. And baby, it worked. So we're bringing it back this year. Exodus Summit 2025 is all about Move Abroad Money. And we're bringing back in. Okay, let's back up a second. It's all about Move Abroad Money, but we are action takers, right? Stephanie and I at all times would rather be luxuriating, maybe looking at a body of water, maybe eating a snack, hand me a shrimp, please, a little cocktail. Thank you very much. But we are working. We are working because we know that money is the gap for a lot of people, and we want to help you fill the gap. And so this year, our speakers are women who are coming in, Black women, who are coming in to teach you how to do a thing that they know how to do. right? These are women who have made money doing the thing. They're not just women who've made money teaching the thing. They're women who've made money doing the thing, and they are going to teach you how they do it and show you ways that you can do it too. These are things that are repeatable. These are things that are going to can bring you chunks of money. And these are ways that you can make money independently of other people. We know that in the US, Black women have lost 300,000 jobs in the past few months, while white men have gained 300,000 jobs.
Imagine that.
Where did those jobs go? Where did they come from? I don't know. And we now know that as of today, as of I think last week, there are more job seekers than there are jobs available in the US job market for the first time in a very, very long time, which means that even if everybody who wanted a job, even if every available job was filled, you still have unemployment, which is not the way it normally works. If you're a Black woman, you know, with the way things are going, if there aren't enough jobs for everybody, you are the last one on the list. And so a lot of what we're having women come in and teach this year are ways that you can make money independent of an employer, right? We are trying to get, now everybody doesn't want to be an entrepreneur, we get it. So we do have some employer related things, but if you can find a way to make money on your own, we want to show you some ways, right? If you're interested in that at all, because if I worked for the government in 2025, the US government, I wouldn't rely on having that job for long, right?
Right.
Go ahead, Steph.
That's right. So speakers are coming in for Exodus Summit 2025. This is online, all online, October 10th through 13th. Tickets are available at exodussummit.com. If you're in Notification Gang, you have your notifications turned on. Tickets, we're still in early bird pricing. Last day of early bird pricing is September 19th, 2025. Okay. We have a couple of sessions for those of you who do want to stay in the traditional job world, just want to improve your chances. We have a session on simple certifications that get you better jobs. Some certifications that in a matter of weeks or days can improve your employability. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then we also have some sessions for those of you who are like, it's time for me to take my skill set out of the traditional work world and into my own hands. So we have a session on freelancing and freelance writing in particular, but freelancing. And we have a session on, Arlen Hamilton is teaching a session on memberships and community as a profit generator, right? As a money maker. We ourselves have a community of 26,000 Black women over on Facebook. We're moving from Facebook, but we have a community of 26,000 Black women. How can those of you who are in the place of facilitating and community, how can you make the money doing that to support you? So sessions in Exodus Summit 2025 will help you not just come up with new ideas, but get started and make your first dollars.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of the things we're talking about are things that you won't have to, they're not all or nothing. You won't have to quit a job to start this, right? You don't have to have $50,000 to invest in a business to start a membership. You can do it for probably like $30, right? These are just things, they're going to take some time and some energy to build. But if you are not building right now in an effort to get out of the country, might as well start. Today's the day to start. October 10th, when the summit starts, right, is the day to start. So we have, we're really excited about our speakers this year. We're really excited about our sessions. Terry Ijeoma is coming to talk about day trading because I like money and I like the stock market, but I can't tell you nothing about day trading. I'm gonna set it and forget it, girly. So I don't know nothing about that. So we have, when we say we have experts coming in, this is what we mean. We have people who are really good at what they do coming to talk to you about doing the thing and show you how to do the thing. These are not going to be women who just come in and say, oh, look at me, I made a lot of money doing this. We're going to give you some real examples, some real information about how to start, how to continue. If you need more information, where to go to get further resources, but really you're going to leave each session with an idea of, one, is this for me or ain't this? Isn't it, right? Like everything ain't for everybody, right? So you will have a good idea of whether this is for you. And two, you'll have a good idea of what your next steps are, right? If this is what you want to do, like, what are your next steps? A lot of our women who left the summit, especially the 2022 Move Abroad Money Summit, left with enough information to go make money immediately, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
That's what we want for you. We want you to be able to go make money immediately after you leave the summit.
Yeah, so Roshida and I host this Exodus Summit, which is an online conference. It's a virtual event. But after the summit, we did an in-person meetup. That year was Morocco after 2022, or so 2023 meetup was in Morocco. And so there were women who came up, there was at least one woman who came up to us and was like, the session that you taught in the summit, okay, I went to that session, I did what she said. That's how I paid for this time in Morocco, right? And then we've interviewed Danielle on this channel at least once, if not twice.
Mm-hmm.
After the Exodus Summit 2022, Danielle doubled her salary, doubled. And then the next summer took her girls to Europe for the whole summer, right? Exodus Summit, especially these Move Abroad Money Summits. There's money in those sessions. So come on and join us. Okay, come on and join us.
Yes, and there's family in the community, right? Part of the summit is a lot of women who are already abroad, who already have money. I saw someone buy a ticket today, and I was like, she don't need the money, and she don't need to get out of the States because she's been living abroad since before either one of us left the country. But she's showing up because she knows that Exodus Summit it's like a family reunion. It's like a bunch of Black women that you love spending time with all in one space. We're very kind, very supportive, love a new person. We love new people. So if you're not part of the community already, don't feel like you'll be an outsider. It's a very kind, warm group, and women keep coming back. Even when they don't need the resources, they keep coming back to be in the community. So yeah.
It's very us. Can you feel the warmth? Okay. If you can feel it here, imagine how you'll feel with thousands of us together. Okay.
Yes. Exactly.
All right. So we're reflecting on our decision to leave the United States. Can we talk a little bit about what we left behind, or do you feel guilt is what I want to talk about. So this is a hard time for Black people. This is a hard time for Black and brown people in the United States. And Black women are shouldering the responsibility of trying to right a rotten ship. Okay, you're trying to right a ship that I'm pessimistic. I don't think there's whatever. Black women are at the helm of the attempt of the struggle. How do you feel being a Black woman who is not there and not doing that?
You started this with, do you feel guilt? And I laughed at that because I could not survive my life if I ever felt guilt about anything. I don't feel guilt. I don't know her. But I feel responsibility, right? I feel responsibility for the Black women that I don't know, right? The Black women that I don't know that want this. I feel a responsibility to be out there and being somewhat visible so that they know it's possible, right? The Black women who know me, you've been known. So that's on you, right? Like if you're not making moves, you know how to find me, right? But the Black women who don't know me, who don't know that it's possible, because I was once in a state where if you said, you can just move abroad, I would have been like, we're playing, right? Like, you play too much, get off my phone. I didn't see models of it, people who just left just because. Mm-hmm. And now there are so many more of them. And I feel like showing up in a positive way, sharing these conversations, hosting a summit every year is what I can do to help the people who are there. Because I'm not going back and standing in the streets. I won't be there. I'm trying not to go back to the US until things change.
Right.
I'll say that. Until things change, I don't see myself setting foot in the US. And you know what that thing is. But I'm not standing in front of a tank I'm physically not doing that. My stress level is so much better now that I'm not in the US. My joy is my compass every single day. I'm like, what's gonna make me happy today? Let's go do that. Right. That wasn't the life I lived in the US, and nothing about going back there, especially now, says that would be any better. And so I'm not doing it. Not doing it.
Anybody who's watching this, who that is your struggle or your concern, don't look at how many years of your life you've lived. How many of those have been for you? Right? Don't you deserve, even if you move abroad and then you move back to the US, don't you deserve some time for you? Right? Some time where you get to decide what you do and don't do. You get to set your own priorities, not capitalism, not Black excellence, right? Not whatever, where you are in charge. How many years of your life do you think is fair for you to have say over? Okay, maybe you leave the United States and you leave for months and then you return. Okay, maybe you're not going to, but don't. I think we're supposed to keep that a secret. Okay, don't tell them, Roshida. Don't tell them that once you get out, you're not going to want to come back. But seriously, if you think, you know what, I do need some time, right? I do. My nervous system is telling me that I need some time out of this environment. I need some time in a place with universal health care, maybe. I need some time in a place with a cost of living that I can navigate, right? That's not driving me bonkers. I need some time in a place where people, my neighbors, the people I come in contact with, I don't have to be on guard against, right? If you just need a little bit of that, it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. I also am not a guilt or shame feeler. I'm missing those things. I don't know what happened, but I don't feel that way. I feel like what my responsibility was to get myself into a good place and to share how I got there. Get to a good place and share with somebody else how I got there, right? Don't pull the ladder up behind me. And boom, did that thousands of times over. I don't feel no ways guilty. I also don't feel like my lot in life is to help the United States, that empire, survive. I don't think that that's what Black women's, our brilliance, our divinity, our generosity, our warmth, our amazingness. Rashida always says our Black brilliance, that could be used however we choose. They've told us to use it to keep the United States afloat, but we get a say. We get the say. Putting that to use for something else, absolutely valid. Okay, put it to use for something else. I wish all of those Black women who are on the front lines, I wish all of them could put that to something that is going to reward them instead of something that's going to continue to punish them until their last breath.
It's a stinky, rotten ship. So, stinky, rotten ships sink all the time. It's time. It's time. Get off. Get off. Get off. Let the rats and the captain go down with the ship. Get off. Stinky. The US, fascism, capitalism, all the isms, right? I'm not saying that any place on earth is perfect. Anti-Blackness is everywhere. Capitalism in its less potent forms, less violent forms of capitalism are everywhere. But when you leave the US and you see how other people live life and how much easier life is when your ability to survive through healthcare is not tied to you showing up to work every day. Separating those two, just if you don't do nothing else in your life, live for a few months where your healthcare isn't tied to your job, right? In a place that allows you to still get healthcare, so not the US. Don't do that in the US.
Right.
In a place outside of the US where your healthcare isn't tied to your job, and see what it feels like, right? think of the freedom you have to just be like, you know what, this job ain't working for me. I don't want to do it no more. Right? Because if you get sick tomorrow, if you get something bad happens, you're still going to survive. Your chances of surviving are not low, right? Go to a place where the medicine costs what it costs to make or close to it, not 30,000 times more. Just because violent capitalism.
10 years out of the US almost, and I still have to tell myself to go see a doctor and go get care, right?
It's hard. We're brainwashed. We are.
I remember today about how when I had a migraine, I've had migraine since middle school, diagnosed, right? And I had a migraine once when I was in the Army so bad that I wasn't sure if it was a migraine or a stroke. So I go to the emergency room and got no care. They just sat me. They were like, oh, well, you should sit in the dark. And I could see my brain. I could see my brain activity. I'm like, I think I'm on the verge of a stroke here. I get no care, right? No care. Meanwhile, here, I had a doctor come to my house. I'm in Colombia. My insurance is $1,800 for a full year. House calls are normal here. Had a doctor come to my house, no extra charge on top of that $1,800. Medication, no extra charge. Healthcare is a place where I am still trying to deprogram myself.
Yes.
Right? Because there's actual care and healthcare in other places. It's not a profit generator. It's just healthcare. And I'm still unlearning the US way and still making sure that I'm living fully. Because I'm like, girl, part of the plan is for you to age in a country with universal healthcare so you don't have to worry about being in the poorhouse, right? You need to start utilizing this pronto. That's the pronto right now. Let's get on it.
I had a doctor's appointment this week, and I was shocked that when I tried to schedule with her, she wasn't available until 2 weeks out. I was like, 2 weeks? What? Any hoodle. I spoke to that doctor for a full hour for $60 US. And, I'm in that phase where I need a little help with the perimenopause. And I'm going to say, ladies, I got what I needed. It wasn't no pushback. There wasn't no blah, 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 blah. Come back in blah. She said, okay, I'm going to email you these prescriptions. Here we go. Done. $60. Right? With no insurance. I have no insurance.
I don't think you could add up all my entire time having conversations with doctors in the US and getting out. I don't think I've seen a doctor for an hour over the course of my entire 41 years in the US before I left. That's serious as an adult anyway. I don't think.
An hour, and it cost me $60. And I was like, yes, I will pay. Yes, here we go. Here's your money. Thank you. Right?
She likes a bougie doctor. Okay.
I do. My bougie doctor was $60. And I didn't have to leave my house. We're chatting online because I'm not bleeding or nothing. I just need you to tell me which one of these meds do I go to the pharmacy and ask for, please? Because I also don't need an actual prescription. I just need you to tell me what it is, because you can get most things without a prescription here. My life is easy. It's easy, right?
Yes. Okay. So how have we done reflecting on our decisions to move to Latin America, to leave the United States and move to Mexico and Colombia?
I think maybe to balance it out, we should talk about either the ways these countries are like the US or what we don't like about the country. What do you think? Which one do you prefer?
Sure.
Both? Either?
Either.
Okay, go for it.
All right. So let's see. So like some negatives. So people don't show up here like, you said this was good.
Yes.
Let's see. The people are nice. Oh, the food. Okay. So Colombia, they don't season their food. Okay. You bring your own seasoning. Okay.
She's not in the black Colombia. She's not in the black. Because in Cartagena,
it's high altitude. Cool weather. It's not caliente in any way, in any sense of the word. It is not caliente in Bogotá. listen, how is it like there's crime here, there's danger here, there's there's cartel activity here, right? I don't know about in Bogota proper, but in another part of Colombia, there was some helicopters shot down, and some cartels shot down the police helicopter, right? There's crime here, like there's crime there. Crime here, I think, seems to be more segmented, or like in the United States, anybody can get it. You anybody can get it. Your kids do drills because there is a potential for danger there. And that doesn't seem to be the case here. Things seem to be segmented. And if you can stay away from the cartel,
Segregated. The crime is segregated.
yeah. If you can stay away from the cartels and that.
Someone might snatch your phone on the street, but they're not going to shoot you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Okay. For me, living in Mexico, I would say, because it's so close to the US, there's a lot of cultural norms that are kind of the same. Like, people are nicer, right? People love to mind their business here too, at least outwardly, right? But they're not going to. I am all over the place, and no one ever asks me, like, what are you doing here? Do you belong? Like, there's not that policing. I am not policed here. I will be noticed, right? I'm a Black woman with blue hair. You're going to see me, right? But no one is going to make me feel like I don't belong. And that's a difference. But did I just see a Black woman? Yes, that happens. It's not a stare, but it is like at least a, what's she doing here kind of look. Yeah. A lot of some Mexicans like to say that they are not racist, they're classist. But if you look at the way class and race align here, it's a little hand in hand. It's a little, the browner you are, the greater chance of being poor you are. So that sometimes has its moments. There are ways in which I am excluded from that because I am an easily identifiable foreigner, because I am outside in the streets of my Spanish, but I can get clocked very easily, very easily. I'm trying, but they know. Now, being excluded, right? Someone saying, okay, she's Black, but she's not Afro-Mexican, so we're going to treat her with respect, or more respect than we would treat an Afro-Mexican, is not what I'm looking for, right? I don't want to be treated differently because I'm a different kind of Black. Mm-hmm. But it's what I have, right? It's what I have. So my day-to-day isn't going to be like the day-to-day of someone who may be my same color, but is indigenous to this country or local to the country. It's not positive to me. I am saying a thing that is a very big negative to me. But the fact that I am treated better than I'm treated in the US is one of the reasons I stay, right? Like, anti-Blackness is I firmly believe whenever people tell me like, oh, there's no racism in Argentina, I'd be like, boy. So then Nazis just went down there and changed, huh? They just switched it up. Anyway.
Right.
Anti-Blackness is everywhere. And if you move around the world, you have to deal with how anti-Blackness in the place you're going impacts you. It may be in a new and different way than it is in the US. It's very likely going to be in a new and different way than it is in the US. And you have to figure out which flavor of anti-Blackness are you okay living with if you're going to live with it somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. And some of y'all gonna say, well, just move to Africa. But anti-Blackness is everywhere, is all I'm saying to that. Right? So yeah, I think that's it for me, is that like it's very, Mexico and the US are very similar in a lot of ways. Less fascism, capitalism, but like less violent, less of the bad things, while still being like very similar in some ways.
Some ways. I do
Yeah.
want to say, when you're a Black woman in a place where you stand out as a Black woman, some things work in your favor because I never, ever, ever remember to take my laundry slip back when I go pick my laundry up from the laundry lady, and they always just hand it to me. They know. Okay,
Yeah.
this is my laundry.
That's her.
It's
Those
like,
is her bras. That's her. Yes.
they remember you. They recognize you. When you walk by, they be like, oh, there she go.
So this morning I had a very great experience. How Mexico City am I? How Chilango am I experience? I know all the people who work in stationary spaces around where I live. If you have a puesto, a little food booth outside, you know me, I know you. Hey. This week I have passed 2 people who I only see while walking, and both times they were like, that's her. And I was like, yes, even on the go, even like a mile away from where I saw you last time, I know who you are. You know how I am. This morning, the guy stopped and stopped and talked to me, but we were in like a little dog puddle, so we couldn't do that. But I was like, yes, it's go outside, you are seen, you are noticed, you are identified. And if you move with generosity and love and kindness, like the people will accept you as there she go again, right? Like, and that was a really good experience for me this morning. Like, yes.
Good. Yeah, it's wonderful. Okay, so if you've made it this far in the video, your question next might be something along the lines of, okay, y'all convinced me. I want to consider going, but where? All right, so Rashida's already pointed you to the which country should I move to quiz. We also want to point you to a video that's coming very soon. If you're watching this, when this video just comes out. We're also going to do a video on best countries for Black families in 2025. If it's already available, you'll see it up here. If it's not already available, make sure that you're subscribed to this channel and make sure that you've turned on notifications. Subscribe to the Exodus Summit YouTube channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss our video on best countries for Black families in 2025. Okay. And it's called Best Country for Black Families in 2025 because there's still time in 2025 to make your exodus. Okay. And also, there's still time for you to register for Exodus Summit 2025. If it's not, okay, if you're watching this after October 13th, 2025, it's okay. Watch the replays. Okay. But there's still time. Register at exodussummit.com. In the description of this video, we'll link to the other video that I mentioned and maybe a couple other videos about some locations you might be interested in. We'll link to the which country should I move to quiz. And of course, we'll link to exodussummit.com so you can get your ticket so we can see you there. Black women and your families, welcome to this community. Welcome to this space. Welcome to this conversation.
Yes.
And welcome to your Exodus friends.
Yes. Find a place where you think this could work, right? We're not looking for perfect. We're looking for better, right? Find your place, get over there. Find your community when you're there or on your way there.
All right, friends. Take a second, hit the like button. Thank you. And share. Hit the share button and share this with a Black woman you know who would be interested in this conversation. Again, we'll link to some videos that you'll want to watch and some information that you'll want in the description. Go ahead and go there. Thanks, friends.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.